Ah, dang, the install's finished. That means I have to turn off my AC and make a video. Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be making a video on how to take control of Windows 11. Make Windows 11 yours again. Get rid of a lot of that Microsoft spying and a bunch of those advertisements and random connections. So let me show you a few tricks. I am going to be leaving this computer connected to the internet the entire time. It's actually just a virtual machine. It's not dedicated hardware for this, but it should work for my demonstration. Oh, another restart? Okay. Okay, so I guess it had a Windows update before even installing Windows. I thought this was the most up-to-date ISO. I guess it doesn't include the update since Microsoft last posted it. I only downloaded this ISO like a week ago. YouTube. Okay, next. Okay, so we are back. I'm gonna set it up for personal use because we don't have a corporate account or anything like that, so personal use it is. This is a copy of Windows 11 Professional. Unlock your Microsoft experience. What I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go to Shift F10, open up the command prompt, and instead of creating a Microsoft account like this next prompt is gonna make me do by signing in, I can go ahead and make a local account like older versions of Windows. So what I'm gonna put in is OOBE / bypass NRO, and this should cause the computer to restart and disable the internet connection. Okay, and now it's going to start back up, and it's going to prompt the out-of-box experience to not have an internet connection. So I'm going to go ahead and select my country. Keyboard method is just going to be US because I want a standard QWERTY layout. No, I don't need a second keyboard layout. Checking for updates again. Since it's already updated, it should be fine. Go ahead and name my device again. And we'll just create a password. It's going to be a very complicated password. Alright, now we're going to set up our security questions. Alrighty. Now that we got our security questions set up, it's just going to set up as a local account. So I'm going to give Windows the best opportunity here, and I'm going to go ahead and disable all these privacy invasive options right here off the bat. So in theory, checking all this off is basically, I mean, you would think it would get rid of like a lot of, the spying that Microsoft would do. It's like, I don't want tailored experiences. I don't want a tracked advertising ID just linking to me. That's a keylogger right there, Microsoft. Why are you including spyware on a computer? Diagnostic data, okay, that's fine. Find my device. Okay, if somebody stole my device, I would like to be able to, locate it, or maybe I just left it somewhere where it's still getting an internet connection. Okay, maybe that's a cool feature, but I don't necessarily need that. And location services, why do you need that on a desktop computer anyways? So let's discuss why you would want to do this. Even if it's not about privacy and you don't care that Microsoft is taking your information and you got nothing to hide, these are still connections that are constantly going on your computer, and just from a performance aspect, like, you don't want Microsoft pointlessly eating away at your bandwidth and your storage to store and steal this information. So here's going to be our first out-of-box experience. You get the start menu. This is kind of famous for Windows 11. Dating back to XP, where you first get like the new start menu popping up. Okay, so there we go. Got a 16:9 aspect ratio going on. So first thing I want to do is open up Microsoft Edge. I want to sync it without my data. Ideally, I never want to see Microsoft Edge ever again after this. Oh my god, how much shit do I gotta click on to just use my web browser? Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, LibreWolf. There's also de-googled Chrome, there's Firefox, there's Chrome, there's Opera GX, there's Brave. Personally, I like LibreWolf. It is a Firefox-based browser that is open sourced and focused on privacy, security, and freedom, and objectively, performance. It doesn't make random connections, it doesn't try to sell you ads, it doesn't have anything on the homepage. It uses a privacy-focused search engine, such as DuckDuckGo as the default. It's a really cool project. So this is going to be my web browser of choice for this video. Oh man, look at all of this up here. Jesus. So it turns out Edge will flag it just because it's not a commonly downloaded application. And because it probably detects that it's another web browser and it doesn't like that. It's a little bit more ferocious than Internet Explorer was. Okay. Okay, so before I launch anything, let's go ahead and start with this. Look at all of this crap that they try to sell you. Netflix, Instagram, Messenger, LinkedIn? Prime Video, WhatsApp. Why is this all pre-installed on my computer? I don't use any of this shit. So we're gonna go through and just unpin it from the start. These are just shortcuts. Some of them are installed, like WhatsApp here. It's like, this is just taking space on my computer and I don't need this on my computer. There's web versions of these applications, like, why do we need native apps on the desktop for this? Yeah, we can get rid of Xbox as well. Some people might use that though. And there we go. Much cleaner looking. Okay. So, oh, Bing. How did it get all this information? It must be pulling it from the web. Let's go ahead and throw this in the recycling bin. Okay, so first thing on the list, let's go ahead and show you an app called Wireshark. We'll go ahead and search that up. Here we go. So Wireshark is a really cool free utility that can view all packets going in and out of this computer. I can basically get an idea of what this computer is connecting to. So we'll go ahead and get the portable version of it because, well, I don't need to install it. We'll just go ahead and slap it on the desktop. Installer. It's not actually installing the application, it's just extracting it right here. You can see the folder for it. While this installs and does its thing, let's go ahead and check out the startup applications. It looks like OneDrive, which I've never used ever, is using a good amount of performance at startup. So we're going to go ahead and disable that. Don't need Microsoft Edge starting up. I don't use Teams. I will go ahead and keep the security options, and, well, that's just VirtualBox. That's nothing to worry about. And down here in the corner, it looks like we have OneDrive running right now. Ooh, that's a weird pop-up. We'll go ahead and go to settings and stop it from starting up whenever we start on Windows. In fact, let's get rid of all these notifications. We don't need anything from OneDrive. And we'll go ahead and just force close the application. Yes, get rid of it. And it looks like we have Teams running over here. Just go ahead and quit that. So go ahead and get rid of the installers, put our recycling bin over here, and let's go ahead and open up Wireshark. So the first time you open it, it's not going to work. It needs an additional bit of software to be able to capture the Ethernet driver. Let's never use Edge again. Let's go ahead and set our default browser right now. Okay, so you'll be getting this piece of software called MPCap. It's basically just a driver so it can capture packets from your Ethernet card. So we'll go ahead and save that, open the file, and it's just going to be another quick installer. Okay, so for Wireshark, we're going to go ahead and type in DNS into this top bar, click on it, click the shark icon. What this is going to do is it's basically going to sniff through our internet traffic and kind of tell us what our computer is connecting to. We're not really too worried about the source, destination, or time, so we're just going to shrink this over. The main thing we want to look at is the information that is displayed right here. So let's see, let's go ahead and open the start menu. Oh, hey, we got a little bit of activity once we clicked on, whoa, what's going on there? Interesting. Let's make sure we are filtering by DNS. Here we go. Okay, so client, Windows, I wonder if that's just Windows login server. You can see a little bit of Microsoft Edge going on, even though we don't have the application open. Those just seem like standard Microsoft, oh wait. Maybe they're not standard Microsoft connections. So they are, but as you can tell, every single time I open the start menu, it's making a connection to a server. That doesn't seem completely necessary, especially since I'm not even searching for anything yet. I mean, if I were to search for, oh, I don't know, YouTube. Yeah, it's like, okay, so I get a lot of web results, a lot of things popping up. I expect a few things from like content delivery networks, footprint DNS. Okay, that sounds like some kind of tracking website. It looks like it could be associated with Office 365, which shouldn't be necessary. We're not using anything that is I already got rid of the ad for Microsoft Office. There shouldn't be any affiliation there. Especially when I'm searching up YouTube on the start menu. YT3 implies possibly YouTube. You can see there's some Google connections. That makes sense. This could just be from my Google search I just did in the web browser. Okay, so we got some random connections there. Let's go ahead and open up the... oh, I didn't even click on it. Oh, it's making various connections, pulling information, content delivery networks, Cloudflare. Okay, I didn't even click on anything. I assume it's making connections so it could serve me all of these. Oh, Barbie, a feminist film about toxic masculinity. Oh, okay. Thanks, Microsoft. Thank you. Yeah, it's not really a feature I need. So I'm going to start off by doing what we can without third-party software. Let's go ahead and clean up Windows a bit. So first things first, we got to go to the personalization options and set our theme to dark theme. I mean, obviously, it's critically important that we do this. Are you a light theme user? Ugh. We're going to change our taskbar settings. We're going to go ahead and get rid of task view widgets and chat. We don't really need those features. Let's go ahead and get rid of search, since we could technically just type in the start menu and have all the same functionality. Let's go ahead and, more importantly, move our taskbar to the left side like older versions of Windows. Much more comfortable. And now it's starting to look a little bit more like a standard Windows experience. So let's just go ahead and check our Wireshark. We're more than likely still getting connections served to us every single time we click on the start menu. If you have data caps or slow internet, it's probably not ideal that like every computer in your household that's running Windows is making connections every time you click on the start menu. So there's a tool for that. There's a tool called ShutUp10. Let's go ahead and search that up. It's from O&O Software, and it's completely free. So let's go ahead and download this. Now, it used to be that you would create a host file to block out a lot of these DNS, or a lot of the Microsoft DNS connections, and get rid of all the excess stuff. But today, there's convenient software that can do it all for you. So let's go ahead and apply all the recommended settings, and we'll scroll through and look at the limited. So I don't need app notifications. That should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and disable it anyway. It's probably not too necessary. Don't need access to voice activation. Don't need access to pretty much all of these. I'm going to leave microphone and camera on because maybe I have a capture card or a webcam. I don't want to like destroy the functionality of that. So we'll go ahead and get rid of access to everything because I'm not a big Microsoft Store app user, so I'm comfortable disabling all of this. Using a web service to resolve navigation errors. I'm not using Edge, so let's go ahead and disable a lot of this. It's not really necessary to me. Form suggestions. I don't need that. I don't need that. Do not optimize web results in the taskbar. Yeah, well, let's go ahead and keep that on. Do I want to see recently opened files in the start menu? That's optional. It's not really any need to do that. Disable ads in Windows Explorer OneDrive, of course. Disable extension of Windows search with Bing, yes. People icon on taskbar, meet now, news and interests. Get rid of widgets. And then you could also change features for the local machine, not just the current user. So you can see all these recommended ones already turned off. There is Windows error reporting. Personally, I don't care to report errors to Windows, but feedback is useful. But I don't need to upload my blue screen of death information to them. Disable biometric features. This is important if you have a fingerprint scanner that you do not disable this functionality if you want to still be able to use your fingerprint scanner. In my case, I don't have one, but I'm just going to leave this unchecked. And I'm going to go ahead and disable all the same stuff that I disabled on the user account and make it global for this machine. Okay, so down here you can disable some of the Windows Update functionality. Personally, I do not recommend disabling Windows Update. You could get rid of peer-to-peer, so you're not connecting to the local computers next to you. You're only being served updates directly from Microsoft themselves. Yeah, I do not recommend disabling Windows Update outright. You certainly can through these settings here, but it's not the best idea. You could also disable the automatic updates and just do your updates manually. I don't need Microsoft OneDrive. I don't need access to OneDrive at all. I do recommend keeping Microsoft Defender and Microsoft Spynet services enabled at all times. Legitimate security updates to your computer that you should always get. But you do have the option to disable automatic updates if you're worried that an update might break your computer. You can give it a nice couple weeks before choosing to install those updates. And this is just more stuff. Get rid of news and interest, get rid of the meet now, get rid of unsolicited network traffic for offline map settings, disable key management services, online activation. I wouldn't disable this if you have a legitimate copy of Windows. If you have a pirated copy of Windows, the odds are the tool that you use to pirate Windows already covers this basis. I'm gonna go ahead and disable automatic download of updates of map data. And that is it. Now, if you wanted to take these settings over to other machines, you could also export these settings, toss it onto a flash drive, download the software onto another computer, and run it. But since we're all set up here, there's no further actions we need to take. Everything's already applied. We're just going to exit. It's going to be a nice warning message. Thank you for whatever, and you could also donate to them. It does recommend that you restart your computer as well. It does mention that after updates, it is possible that these features might turn themselves back on. That's as easy as going through and reviewing this again. And just making sure you disable all the functions that Windows or Microsoft might re-enable on you. So here I'm going to be prompted to restart Windows. I'm going to go ahead and run that now. Okay, so let's go ahead and sign in again. The next piece of software I'm going to show you is called Ultimate Windows Tweaker. I do have to give credit to the PCSecurityChannel for these suggestions. Classically, I would go through and make a host file, but these tools make it so much easier. So let's go ahead and look for Ultimate Windows Tweaker. And we don't want version 4. If you have Windows 10, you could use version 4, but we are on Windows 11, so we are going to use version 5. So let's go ahead and get the latest version of this software. I do want to also point out that LibreWolf has uBlock Origin installed, so it will get rid of fake download links, which this site actually has a couple of. So be careful. This is the link you want to click if you want to download the software. This just comes in a zip folder. It's not an installer, so we're just going to drag it to the desktop here. And as soon as that's complete, we can go ahead and open the software. Now you are going to get a Windows Defender warning. It is not a signed file, and it is going to make some changes to Windows, which Windows Defender does not like. And this is just advising that you create a system restore point before using the software. It even brings up the prompt so you can do so. I'm not too worried about it. I'm in a virtual machine. You should create a restore point. You should do things safely, back up your files before making any of these changes. So there is a lot of tweaks you can do. A lot of these are visual tweaks. You can see you can restore the Windows 10 style context menus. If I right click the desktop here, you get the very ugly Windows 11 one that they surprisingly still have not changed or improved on in any way. It's pretty bad because it just requires multiple clicks to get anything accomplished. Then it's like, show more options if you just want to see the old version. Well, we can just go ahead and hit restore on that. And I believe we can apply changes here. And now I can right click the desktop, and now we're back to the old Windows 7 through 10 style context menus, which is preferred. You can go through and change a lot of the lock screen design here. You can enable a slideshow of images. You can disable the lock screen entirely. You can get rid of the blur for a little bit of extra performance, or just add a preference. You can disable the camera access if you don't want your camera to kick on whenever you have the lock screen open. This is for Windows Hello functionality. The sky's the limit, but plenty to mess around with. We have some for the File Explorer here. You can show the Windows version on your desktop. Let's go ahead and apply that. Yep, you can see it right there. You can disable arrow peek, which is when you hover over things. A lot of small tweaks you can play around with. But what we want is under the security and privacy settings. So you can disable a lot of the functions in Windows and even like harden it a little bit and make it a little bit like child-proof in a way for somebody like your grandma you don't want going through and breaking their copy of Windows. But personally, I'm going to go ahead and disable Windows error reporting. I don't need that functionality. I want to go ahead and turn off user tracking. And I'm going to go over to the privacy tab here, and I'm going to go ahead and just check off all of these. I don't need any of this. Well, I'm going to leave microphone and camera on. If I have a webcam or a capture card, again, I don't want to disable this functionality. If I have a microphone, I use Discord, I do calls through my computer, I don't want to disable the microphone. One of the big things though is disabling and resetting the advertising ID, disabling telemetry. Those are two functions where Microsoft is basically just selling your data. Other things you can mess around with, you can mess around with some of the browser things like Microsoft Edge here. You can tweak the context menus to have a few more options. There's a lot to play around with. There's some performance options. I don't think these really impact for performance that much, but you can disable some of the background features that are going on Windows, such as like super fetch, prefetch services. This will impact things like boot time and your ability to like browse your hard drive in like a fast motion, but it's just a background process that'll free up like CPU cycles and stuff. I don't really recommend messing with any of this, but it's there if you wanted to. So we're going to apply the tweaks that I made and close this tool. And it does suggest that you restart your computer. So let's go ahead and relaunch Wireshark. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and punch in DNS here at the top again. And let's see how Windows is behaving now. Okay, not much activity going on. That's ideal. If I open up Task Manager, does anything pop up? Nope. How's the performance tab looking? Oh, not really, not too much going on with the Ethernet controller. Well, that's nice. Yeah, no activity there. Everything just seems to be offline, but my computer's online, but there's no random connections happening. A little bit of CPU activity. RAM's being used up a little bit in the cache there, a lot available. Okay. Yep. Been almost a minute now and no connections. Okay, this is what we'd like to see. Let's go ahead and open up the start menu. Oh, nothing popped up. Well, that's nice. What if I open up the notifications tray? Oh. Not bad. What if I want to adjust my time and date? Oh no, it made a connection. Yeah, no. That connection is basically just to the time server. It's just making sure the time's up to date. That's fine. It used to be time.windows. or time.microsoft.com or like something like that. windowsupdate.com. I guess it goes through Bing now. Seems like everything just centralizes around Bing. Well, that's not too bad. Let's see. The time's incorrect. What if I search for YouTube? Nope, no connection. Well, this is perfect. Nothing's really going on. What if I open up the settings? Go over to Windows Update. Yeah, it looks like it's making a few connections there. It's probably just grabbing content for the settings menu, if I were to guess. I'm sure if I check for updates, it's going to make some connections to update.microsoft.com. Yeah, you can see, yep, update.microsoft.com. So this is standard. These are connections that you would want it to make. So it doesn't seem like this computer is making a bunch of random connections to Microsoft anymore, or advertisers or anything like that. It just seems like it's a completely offline system, similar to how Windows XP and Windows 7 were in the past. And this is what we want. So next up on the list of things to do is to get rid of some of the clutter. So by default, Windows 11 is using a lot of space. I don't really have many applications on this computer, but let's go ahead and check the properties of our hard drive and see what the breakdown is for our storage use. Let's see if we can shrink this down just a little bit. Okay, so we have 2.78 gigs of installed applications. That's weird because I don't have really that many applications installed. I just have Wireshark and like what I've downloaded, and that's not taking that much space. So let's go ahead and go check out our installed apps and see what clutter might exist there. Okay, so Cortana, can we get rid of that? No, of course not. We can get rid of the feedback hub. We don't need that. We don't really need to send feedback to Microsoft. We're not too worried about that. We just want to use our computer as our computer. Unfortunately, we have to keep the Get Help app. I'm sure there are other third-party tools that can get rid of this. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Maps app. Don't really care to use Microsoft Maps. I do have a media player of my own. I'm not too worried about using the Windows media player, so we don't really need that functionality. Go ahead and keep the Microsoft Edge stuff. That's kind of essential to the operating system, but you could probably find tools that will rip Edge out of Windows, if that is something you so much as desire. Don't need to hear about the new Barbie movie, so let's get rid of the Microsoft News app. Microsoft OneDrive's eating up 283 megabytes. We can go ahead and get rid of that as well. Storage is not plentiful on this computer, so I want every megabyte I can get. I'll go ahead and keep the Microsoft Photos app. It's not removable anyways. Microsoft Teams, I don't use Teams personally, and that'll free up another 35 megabytes, so let's go ahead and clear that out. Microsoft To Do, I don't need a task scheduler on my computer to plan out my day. Movies and TV, let's go ahead and get rid of that. Wow, you could actually get rid of Notepad? Let's go ahead and keep Notepad. We don't need to get rid of Notepad. The People apps, unfortunately, still here. Power Automate can go away. Could we also get rid of Quick Assist? We'll just go ahead and get rid of that, even though it's not really taking too much space. It's just extra clutter we do not need on this computer. Snipping tool might be useful for you, or you can get rid of it. Personally, it's not necessary for me. I can absolutely still print screen and just paste my stuff into MS Paint and be just fine. Sticky notes, don't need that. We'll go ahead and keep Terminal. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Tips app. I don't need Tips from Microsoft. Voice recorder, I have my own software for that. I don't need that. I'm perfectly capable of typing in weather into Google. Windows Security, we'll go ahead and keep that there. And you can also get rid of Xbox Live unless that is a function you prefer to use. Alright, so now we're back to kind of the Windows 7 experience. We're not making random connections. We have a localized start menu that does not search online for results. Yeah, this is a much more familiar experience to what we're used to. If you wanted to take it to the extreme, you can get software such as OpenShell and restore the original style start menu. Go ahead and just download that here. Save it to our desktop like everything else. And install OpenShell. This is totally optional. Personally, I am fine with the Windows 11 start menu. I don't really use the start menu that much. I mostly just use it for local file searching. So as you can see, you have different skins here. You could have like the OG Windows style. You could have the Windows style with 2 columns here, or you could have the Windows 7 style, and there's even additional skins for it, such as like Windows 8. You could also replace the start button. You could choose your own image. You got like the retro style one. You got the OpenShell style icon there. There's other tweaks you can make to the operating system as well, bringing back some retro settings. I'm just going to run the Windows 7 style start menu. Look at that. Very clean. It even takes on the dark theme too. Really nice. Hey, what's this doing here? Remove this from the list. Okay. Oh, look at that. You even got all the control panel options. So nice. So let's have a little bit of fun here. It used to be that you'd modify your host file to block a bunch of these connections. I mentioned this before, but let me show you what happens if you try to block any Microsoft related website. So it's going to be the driver folder. Ooh, I don't know if Notepad's gonna let me do this. Let's get rid of this text extension here. Save it. It doesn't seem to have the permissions. You can't do it through Notepad. So, that's fine. We have ways to brute force this. So, let me show you a cool website called ninite.com. This is a really nice way to get a bunch of applications you might be needing on a clean install of Windows. So let's say you got rid of all the bloat that came with the new laptop and you just want to get your common applications. Well, you can go ahead and pick your favorite browsers. You can get Discord. If you still use that dinosaur Skype, you could definitely get that. VLC, iTunes, Audacity, Spotify. Has all your favorite applications. Steam. But what we're looking for is Notepad, Sharp, or ++. I think the website's ++. I think it's called ++, so we'll just go with ++. And we'll go ahead and download this software. You could also just get it directly from their website, of course, but I just wanted to show this really cool utility. What this website does, it'll make you your own installer and it'll automatically skip all of the bloat that might come with that software. I know toolbars aren't really a thing these days, but if there's, oh, I don't know, a McAfee trial or something that comes with this free software, then it skips all that for you and doesn't install it. It only installs the software. And it does it all in a nice package as a one-click installer. Okay, so I added telemetry.microsoft.com to my host file because I don't want them collecting my data. I want to block telemetry.microsoft.com. I have it redirecting to localhost, so it's basically black holed. It's not making any connections there anymore. Let's go ahead and save this host file. And it's going to require admin mode. So let's go ahead and reopen it as admin and save. So what's going to happen? So let's go ahead and scan our host file with Windows Defender. And oh no, possible host file hijack. So Windows Defender doesn't like you blocking Microsoft websites through your host file anymore. It flags it like a virus. Of course, you could allow it on your device. And just start and everything will be fine. Now it's not going to sit there and flag it anymore, but you can see the little extra effort that Microsoft goes through to stop you from blocking that. Now with that said, there are legitimate attacks that do utilize the host file. There are viruses that do utilize the host file, so it is reasonable that Windows Defender would be wary of where the host file is directing your traffic. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, please leave it a like, subscribe, and do leave me feedback and suggestions for any videos you'd like to see in the future. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you would like to see more videos like this, do let me know. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video.